Welcome, everybody, to our first ever episode of our podcast. I got the one and only, the only guy I could think to have on podcast one, my brother, my cousin, Nate Cheviron. What's up, buddy?
Hey, excited to be here.
Now, Nate, can you tell everybody how I prepped you for today?
Zero prep.
Talking about having an authentic conversation, it's like, hey, you don't get the notes. I got some notes, and we'll see where this goes. So I think we'll start with this, Nate. What do you think the first note I have here of what we're going to talk about? If you had to guess anything, what do you think it is?
Our story is what popped to mind. Yeah.
That's it, buddy. That's exactly right. And that's kind of, it's funny when I was writing, what are we going to talk about? The theme of this was our story, and then we can then work it through. So, I figured you would start. You got your 1 for 1. So that means the next 2 questions you'll probably get wrong.
Okay.
So let's do this. Start back at our childhood.
Man. All right, starting back to our childhood. Austin and I grew up next to each other, right? For many years.
What's next to each other? Tell them what that actually
next
is.
Door, close enough to run the cable line, cable TV line from my house to his house, because IU basketball was on during the winter, and that's how it was, right? And our family collectively, we come from a decent sized, large Catholic family, right? And heart of the Midwest. And that's kind of from a value system and everything else. That's kind of how we were raised. Grandma every single Saturday night, 5:00 would cook dinner for the entire family. So anywhere from 30 to 50 people every single Saturday, grandma cooked dinner for over 25
How many years?
Yeah, over 20 years. And it was great.
Can you imagine that? Like, you got a family of 8 and you complain about it. I can't imagine cooking for I got 4 and I'm like, you guys are eting all the steak. I can't afford it. We're going like, man.
So it's a lot. Yeah, but super consistent. And I look at just our careers, right? And I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but
that's okay. That's the next part. Business.
One of the main things that really separate us from most is consistency, and just doing the same thing over and over and over, and putting your heart and soul into everything, and that's what Grandma did, and so. So Austin and I grew up right next door to each other. Fast forward, from an initial career standpoint, Austin always in real estate. Myself, I went the engineering services route, did a lot of contract engineering, resource-based managed services. If you understand what that is, and
no, they don't. What does that mean? It's the smart people world.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Basically, big companies would come to me saying, hey, I have work that I want to get done that I don't want to do myself, and it takes a collective group of engineers to do it. I would put that team of engineers together to go get that work done. And that's what I did for about a decade. Then Austin.
Hang on. Let me interject. Hang on. Let me interject here. So while Nate was doing that, I was building my real estate career. And I did a really good job to start with. I put my family on welfare, which, is good job, Austin. Nate, I don't know if I told you, when I wrote the money puzzle, Judy asked me, she's like, can you tell me how you actually got on welfare? And so I was thinking through like, okay, like I was always good with money.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that I wasn't good with money.
When we were young, you literally had the stack and collection of the $50 to the $2 bills, and you still got it, right?
I still got it. Yeah, I was playing with them last night.
And still probably has his communion money or first communion. Since right? Tight.
To be fair, Nate, it was 20. I invested it. Now it's 20,000. So it's not really the same. It's not really the same money, but it is the same money.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So what the heck was I going to say to you? What were we just talking about?
You were talking about how you got yourself on welfare.
Yeah, that was good. This was good stuff. So Judy's like, "I need you to figure this out for me. I know your story and it doesn't make sense. Here's what I realized. I was making this amount of money with this expense. And what happened is when we had Brees, what happened was is my expenses, because I wasn't smart enough to figure this out, my expenses stayed the same. But you know what I did? I went to every doctor's appointment. I stayed there with Brees. And so what happened was is my income went down,
Mhm.
expenses stayed the same because I wasn't educated.
Mhm.
Now it's like strip that stuff. So I went from this to this.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm like, I didn't do anything wrong, like,
Mm.
uh, I didn't manage the expenses, and that's how I put my butt on
Yeah.
welfare.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Nation around a
mm,
lot of that stuff is, now I have 6 kids, right? And, our expenses and lifestyle has really stayed the same, from, when we had 2 kids to 3 kids to 5 kids to now 6 kids. And so we're really reflecting back around our behaviors around, we can't act like we had 1 kid or no
that's
kids.
exact
Right. And, no, and a lot of people where they mess or they really miss is they won't anticipate that and draw awareness around how they're actually living. And it creeps up on you. It's almost like a death by 1,000 cuts, right? And
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
oh, and and those 1,000 cuts really hurt when it catches up with you.
So let me catch the story up. So Nate's in his engineering services world for
Yep.
about a decade. I'm selling real estate for a decade. Um, I'm doing good enough that I'm causing a problem at my company, let's say. When you're the number one whatever and wanting to go below that away, um, you tend to break the glass ceiling, and that's actually what happened.
Yeah.
So I
The
I outgrew I
process.
outgrew my company and needed to change. Nate, where
Yeah.
were
And,
you at? Let's
what
let's talk about that.
well, to put a pause on that, just so
Sure.
if anyone is listening, to Austin for the very first time, I'm a very proud cousin of his. Tell the world what you were doing production wise.
My top year as an agent, 88 homes by
Mhm.
referral.
Yep.
Now
All
that's
by
not
referral.
what's impressive. That's
Mhm.
not impressive to me. I mean,
Correct.
that's good, don't get me wrong, don't
For
get me
sure.
wrong. That's good, that's top 1% in the world, let's say, whatever. But what makes it more unique is I did it working on average 38 and a half hours a week.
Yes. And how many
And I
vacations?
oh, I took like 12, dude. It
Exactly.
was awesome.
So,
Yeah, it's just
so
born.
38 hours a week, 12 vacations, right? Just to put that in context, that's what he was doing. And the 88 sales were all by referral. And
Crushed it, dude, just crushed it. Yeah, it
I mean,
was
and
good.
and created the system around it to repeat it. That's what is impressive. And
Yeah, we created the system. My company said, almost pretty much said, "You were number 100 out of 100. Now you're number 1. How did you do this? Can you train all my people?" And so then one of Les Brown's quotes is my favorite. In life, if you do what is easy, life will be hard, and if you do what is hard, life will become easy. And so I asked myself, would it be easy or hard to go train my competition
mm,
on all the stuff that I have no clue what I did? Like I know what I did, but I don't know what I did.
yeah, right.
And so for
Like a
3
lot of us,
years, we did that.
we build the bridge as we walk on it, right? And
Yeah, ain't that the truth?
we entrepreneur it, right? I'll just do this and it should work out.
Yeah, so let's do this. Let's take the conversation now to Mount Hood.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Love
yeah.
that story.
You
So
wanna you wanna start it? You want me to start
Memorial
it?
Day of 2019 is when we summited Mount Hood out in Oregon. And to back up a little bit from that, Austin, I don't want to ruin your story, Austin, but basically Austin had a dream that he was climbing a mountain and woke up, called his assistant the very next day and say, "Hey, go find the 3 tallest mountains in North America, and of those 3, do the safest one." And that's the one
with the lowest death rate.
Yes.
It was the 3 tallest with the low. Now, just to let everybody know, me and Nate both live in northern Indiana. A big hill around here is like 11 foot. And then like 11 foot. And then that's what we all sled down in the winters. We go 11 feet and then walk up in 11 feet.
Yeah.
So there are no mountains.
Yeah, we are not mountaineers. We are not climbers, right? But Austin had a dream that he wanted to climb a mountain, and so he did it. And so he booked it, and he was training for it and everything else, and he was climbing on the Stairmaster and everything. And me being a competitive cousin, he was telling me some of his times and stuff. I'm like, I would destroy you.
Yeah,
and I did.
So Nate, so what's funny? So this is pre-COVID, everybody.
Yes.
I was going in the gym with the backpack on, full with. I'd go have a backpack. I'd go to the weight stacks. I'd pick up a 40-pound weight and put it in my backpack. They probably thought I was stealing it at first. I would go to the Stairmaster, which those things aren't a joke, and then I would put on my oxygen restricting mask to emulate being high up, and everyone just looked at me like I was crazy. Well, maybe I was. And so I would tell Nate what I was doing. Nate's like, I'm going to crush your times. And I'm like, sure you are. Well, one day I said to Nate, or you said, I can't remember who started that conversation, but it was kind of like, hey, Nate, do you want to come with me? And Nate's like, sure. I'm like, no, you got to ask your wife. You don't get to decide if you go. That's not how, this is a death-defying mission we're going on. So then Nate calls me.
Question. Yeah. Bring this up. I literally remember asking her the question. I'm on the phone with you. We're driving somewhere. And this is right before our third child was born. So she's pregnant. And remember asking her the question, and she said, sure. She had no clue sure to, but she said sure, and I ran with it.
Within about 12 minutes, Nate calls me back. He goes, hey, I'm allowed to go. I go, no, you got to ask your wife. There is no way in hell she said yes that quick.
Yeah, she said yes.
And she did. So then we went. Nate, tell them about the room.
Prior to that, we spent about $2,000 in equipment. I'm like, geez, this pair of gloves, not only do I have to have one pair of gloves, I need 3.
That's 3. Have you ever wore the thick gloves?
I did. This past winter, it was like minus 20 outside, and so I was shoveling. And I did put them back on, and that was for the first time in a long time.
Yeah, so they made us buy 3 pairs of gloves, like the normal it's cold gloves, and then the like it's really cold gloves, and then the like you don't want to lose your fingers gloves. And these things were like an Eskimo on your hand. I mean, I've only put them on in my closet. Yeah, crazy stuff.
Yeah. What'd you ask?
So we get there, and so remember, I booked this trip by myself, everybody. I didn't book it with Nate. Nate's coming. We get there and we go to the room. Tell them about the room.
We Austin, very good with money, and a lot of the reasons why he's so good with money is he does not care about luxury. And so we go in. It's actually at the facility where the movie The Shining was filmed, the very first one back in the 70s. And so beautiful, gorgeous facility. We go to the lowest rated room, shared bathrooms, bunk beds in there. There's literally bugs on the floor. A single
all the bugs
out in the open. I mean, I'm like, what? Hole in the wall, and that's where we stayed. And like literally there was a sign saying, hey, these types of bugs are going to be coming in and out of the walls, don't worry about it. It was literally part of it. And that's what it was. So we get there, and we get there also, there was no mountain. We could not see the mountain. Is covered in fog. And so we had all these pictures and everything else, and we were visualizing kind of going up the mountain and everything, but there was fog. Zero mountain.
So what's that do, Nate? When you imagine this mountain, you studied it, and now we get there, and when we we're sitting there drinking stouts, I believe, at the bar, And then we asked the guy, hey, where's the mountain? He goes, well, we're up in the clouds. He goes, you might not see it. Like, what's that do to you?
Well, yeah, it was kind of surreal, right? When we were, we need to see what it is that we're doing, right? We need to be able to visualize it. That's what everyone says. Like, you need to be able to visualize what it is. And so we had this vision of doing what it was that we wanted to do, right? Climbing the mountain. And then we get there and didn't go as planned, right? And so it did. It just caused what were all the words, like, doubt, concern, like
all the above. So tell them what time we started climbing the mountain.
Okay, so we went 3 a.m., 2 a.m. Is when we took the snowcat up. We took a snowcat, started around 6,000 elevation, took a snowcat up to about 8,000 elevation. And the reason why you start so early in the day is because when the sun comes up, snow starts to melt, right? And gets slippery and icy and things like that. So they want it as cold and as hard as possible. And so that was the reasoning behind it. So now on the day that we did it, there was actually a blizzard that hit the mountain. And so you could not see, not only was it cloudy and everything, but there was blizzard snow coming across. So you really couldn't see. And 3 feet in front of you, literally arm's reach away, from me was the guide. It was the guide, it was me, and then it was Austin in a line all the way up the mountain. And I could barely see the guide right in front of me. And so it was pitch black. Had a little headlight lamp on, and I was staring at the guide's butt the entire time as we were walking right up the mountain. And so it's a little funny story. I remember telling the guide, saying, asking him, was the day before, because we prepped the day before when we get there. He was teaching us how to climb the mountain literally the day before we climbed the mountain. And I said, hey, have you ever seen the movie Free Solo? And it was right around the time it came out. And he goes, he's like, no, I haven't. He's like, oh man, that guy's crazy. He climbed El Capitan, no ropes, everything else. I mean, he's like, you think that guy's crazy? Try tying yourself up to 2 guys who've never climbed a mountain before for $900. I was like, noted, sir. Well done. Yeah, you are crazy. Well done. So we are fast forward. Climbing up the mountain, could barely see. Took us
Nate.
Yeah, 2.5 hours to go.
I would relate everybody. So when we were going up the snowcat, the first experience we had is the lady, I think it was her first time driving the snowcat up the mountain. Literally. And we're signing the waivers on the way up.
Yes. Okay?
She gets up and she starts to turn, and the thing starts to slide down, and all the guides yell, get out, get out, get out. So we all jump out of this thing. Okay. Adrenaline rushing. We get out. We're on the mountain. It's pitch black because it's 3 a.m. Yeah. You can't see anything. We turn on our headlamps. And the only thing that I can tell you is it reminded me of driving in the snow with your brights on.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I'm like, I turn on the light. I'm scared. And I'm like, we're fucked. That's what I thought. Like, we're fucked. We did not prepare for this. And I had a GoPro. I was going to GoPro the whole thing. And I was so scared. I'm like, we're going to die, or we're going to do, I don't know, but this isn't good. So we start climbing. Nate tells you, he said, you could see about 3 feet. It's because of the light. You're blinded by the snow. Well, we're not tied up, everybody. We're just going up together. Well, Nate's in the middle. It's the guide, Nate, and me. So when the guide never falls, he's a 25-year-old mountaineer stud. He's setting the pace. He's climbed the mountain, I don't know how many 100 times. Me and Nate have never climbed anything. Well, other than the Stairmaster.
Right.
So we're going. Nate's in better shape than me. So Nate keeps keeping up. I'm in the back and I'm huffing and puffing. And I'm like, slow down, but you can't talk to them. Like, they can't hear you. You're all geared up. You're like hunched down for death. And what would happen, I think I told you, Nate, when you would fall, you'd fall into me. I'd pick you up, and the guy would turn around probably like disappointed, like, come on, boys.
Yeah.
When I would fall, I was like, holy shit, I'm going to lose them. I'm falling and I'm trying to like get back up. And then I'm looking around like, shit, where are they? I can't see. And I mean, I probably fell 3 or 4 times and I'm like, I'm gonna lose these people. And I asked the guide at one point, I don't know if you remember this, Nate. I said, hey, how do you know how to get to the top? We can't see. Do you remember what he told us?
Remind me.
He said, I just followed the shoe prints.
Ah, yeah.
And I'm like, what if they went the wrong way? And I'm pretty sure he's like, shut up and keep climbing. So we get up to the top. Tell them about the top, Nate, when we got up to the summit crest.
Yeah, it took us about 2.5 hours total to get up there. The first portion of it, first few thousand feet, was just like a really, really steep stair, right? And, like if you're climbing like picture the stairs like going up a pyramid, like that's kind of what it felt like, and so you felt the exposure. Like if you fell back, you were going to fall back, but it's just, you weren't tied to each other or anything else. But the last 1,000 feet up, we roped to each other, started getting a little steeper. And then that's where we put, they're called crampons, like the metal spikes on your shoes. We put those on. We had, an actual, spike itself.
Ice pick, an ice axe.
And so we had the axe, we put the crampons on, we harnessed up. So we were tied to each other, in case someone fell. So that was about the last 1,000 feet. And it wasn't as steep as, say, like you've seen some like ice climbers climb up a waterfall or something like a frozen waterfall. It wasn't like that, but close. We were very much, like vertically, needed our hands and our feet, climbing right up the mountainside. And then as we went up to that last part, there was probably an 80-foot stretch or so, plus or minus, of probably as wide as the area I'm sitting, 2 feet, right? And they call it the catwalk, and a razor's edge. There's different names for it, and that's pretty much heel to toe. We were walking across that, and the guide said, if you fall right. Because on the right side, as we were walking across to the summit, it was still a degree. It was pretty steep, probably an 80 to 85 degree slope, but there was still a lot of snow there to hit. On the other side, it was straight down, thousands of feet straight down. And we're walking across this thing, right? And
by the way, everybody, the wind's blowing like 50 miles an hour. and he says, when we get to the top, he says, stay low. If the wind blows too hard, it'll blow you right off. And he goes, hee hee. And I'm like, get me the hell off of this thing. So we end up getting there. We get to the summit, we take a break. And one of the reasons why we climb the mountain so fast, the guide said it. He's like, the mountain's not safe to be on. We got to get up and down as quick as we can. So you have to increase your pace. And I'm like, I was hoping to decrease the pace, maybe have like a margarita halfway through, take some pictures, text my wife, hey, it's so cool. Look at this. What a great view. It was the opposite. It was get up, get down, stay alive. So we did end up summiting. We ended up coming down. Nate, I gotta watch. I don't know how much our wives know. I mean, I don't know if she knows everything. Let's just leave that out for now for us chevrons here. Here's my question, Nate. Would you do it again next year? I'm not challenging you, by the way.
Yeah,
would you do it again?
Maybe one day, not today. It was after we climbed it, it was like, you know what? I'm good. Like box checked off the bucket list, and I think I'm good. And if I never do that again, I'll be okay. And so that was it was a very humbling experience, like literally every single step that you took, could be the wrong one.
Yeah.
And
And
uh,
some were the wrong ones.
yes, exactly. And
Yeah.
it was yeah, I was, and that was, call it the safest, tallest mountain, right? And and that was, there were some scary moments, and awesome moments, right? And you talk about extreme focus, and in the world of entrepreneurship and sales professionals, anyone who's just really hungry and trying to grow, fighting for that extreme concentration, that extreme focus is really tough, and you find it there. You feel it. It's another level. And so there are elements where it's like, yeah, finding that focus is, it feels good. So there's an itch for that, but I'm good.
Okay, let's do this. I don't want to say quickly, but let's tell them about our partnership and what we built over the years.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we go from Mount Hood to
Yeah. No, for sure. I'll do a very 50,000 foot view flyover. Mount Hood, that's literally on that trip. That's when we decided to partner together. And Austin and I, like, going back to the story, best friends growing up. Always actually talked about doing something together. Just never figured out why. And I was at a crossroads, literally right around the time, in my career and in the corporate world. Always had the itch to do something myself. Austin was at a crossroads where he was, and we just said, let's do something together. And it made most sense for me to get into real estate versus him in the engineering world. And so jumped into real estate, and it was good. So we started off with partnered at EXP Realty, partnered with that brokerage specifically, and built a team off of it. And then through that team, the services that we were offering, there were individuals who didn't make sense to join EXP or join our team, but they wanted to be coached and trained by us. They wanted our support services, right? So we created other businesses that were cost centers for our team and for the one company, and created them into profit centers, right? As standalone entities. There was still a lot of overlap, but they were able to operate independently of each other. So we had the Cheviron Group, which is our real estate team. Ended up being, the year before we actually pared it down to go all in on the coaching. We were number 3 in the country. If you look in real trends, number 3 in terms of transaction count throughout the U.S. or North America, one of the two, which was a pretty cool stat, right? Out of Fort Wayne, Indiana.
are we up to number 3? I don't know if we
It
were
was
that
number
high.
3. Yeah, if you look in, I think
Okay.
2023, number 3 in the country. And
Well, I would say this, if we were number 3 or number 30, it was a hell of a feat for me and you.
that was a
And
lot.
and the
And
and the coolest thing about it is neither me or Nate sold at that time. So it wasn't like we were the ones doing all the business. We actually did no business.
yeah, we had an amazing
And
team. Amazing
and we
team.
just taught them, and everybody listening here, this is key. We just taught them how to be good human beings, how to run systems and processes in their business, and how to manage their financials. And because of that, they were able to produce great sales. We were able to recruit great people, and it really just grew.
Yeah. Well, the core of what we did, the center of every single company that we started over the years, it was all tied to a very central mission. And, where the mission was to help and show realtors how to live a better life. And so that's what we did. Anything that we surrounded anyone that we surrounded ourselves with, it was to help them achieve a better life. And so all the points that Austin just hit on around time management, money management, how to be a good person, right? When you're between a rock and a hard place, and you start, there are times where you can make questionable decisions, and no judgment to the ones who do, because there's times where you have to make a decision because you can't afford your mortgage, and you start making some decisions. But how do we get ourselves in an environment to where that's not acceptable, and you're around a group of people and that are all sharing the same value set, and they're all trying to help each other live a better life, right? And you had Austin and myself at the time at the helm of making that happen. And you fast forward a little bit where the reach and the impact was far greater than just our team. And how do we help and show the entire industry the same impact, which is where the direction to go all in on Chevron coaching and the programs and all of that made complete sense within that 5-year journey. And it was a beautiful thing as we were building all of
Yeah.
that.
So we built 4 to 5 companies, and then we ended up shutting most of them down or
Yes, we
selling
did.
them.
Yeah. Yeah.
And our word, if you could pick one word for us, it's pivot. We're always pivoting somewhere. Now, when you hear that, you might think that's a bad thing, but if you think about your journey in life, is it a straight line?
Never.
The answer is I love that answer. It's never a straight line. But most people, Nate, I believe, are fighting to try to make it straight compared to going and understanding that this thing moves.
Yeah.
And so let's tell them about the exit then. What do we
Yeah.
do there?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Buy
So
bottles of scotch in Miami?
when I start, when we started the partnership, me personally, I had 3 kids, and when I was ready, when I said, you know what, I think it's time. I think it's time to just go our separate ways. I have 6 children now, and needed, throughout our organization, we had a mantra that was always family first, and it just felt like the time we were investing a lot within Chevron coaching and everything else. And to go through that investment storm, if you will, it just, and the time it took and all of those things, I just needed the mental break and to go all in with the family and to support Austin from a distance, as opposed to all in. And I was, frankly, I was really actually missing the technical world, which is where I'm back into now on the engineering side of things. And similar to what I was doing before, doing again. And, but like all that said, being able to do things like this, to be on this podcast, to help promote your book and the courses and the programs and all of it, I'm excited for many years ahead.
We launched, for everybody watching, we launched 3 programs within 18 months. There's probably not one guide or mentor that would ever suggest that. And each program, we probably had $100,000 invested by the time we were done in each program.
Yeah, easily. And
in 18 months.
These programs, just so to put context around it, they're almost like full-fledged movies. So think about launching, because they're online training programs, very comprehensive, workbooks, the videos, very interactive, just all of the above, around how to build and set up a team, how to run a business as a solo agent to the highest levels, that Austin was talking about earlier in the podcast, and then wealth management, right? And then the next series was books, and you throw the initial creation of the book in that time frame too.
Yeah.
That was there was.
Hey, the book, at least the book wasn't $100,000. It was only 50. So we're cutting expenses there. So if anybody wants to see the programs, austinchevron.com. I always say, Chevron's got an I in it. It's Chev Iron. I say, God put an I in our name so we'd have to work.
Yes.
So compared to being the gas station mogul, we're not that. We're Chev Irons here.
Yes.
We're here to go to work. Okay, Nate. Well, that brings me to my second point of today.
Yeah. Yeah.
Second point, 30-second answer here I want out of you. I want to know the biggest change that you had in your life going from a W-2 employee to a 1099 working with real estate agents. Just give me the 30-second, awe and shock moment here. Shock and awe.
Yeah. So it was actually very early on. As a statement from my wife, she says, "When do we get paid?" Yeah, I said it does not work like that.
Huh?
There you go. 30 seconds.
When do we get paid? Okay, next one. I got this a fun one here. So we grew up 30 some years together,
Yeah.
and then we shared an office together, literally a 10 by 11. I'm probably
Yeah.
giving it an extra foot. We
Yeah.
shared a 10 by 11 office, 2 desks for 5 years. So what was the biggest thing working with me that close every day that you realized after working with me compared to before?
Oof. Right away, right when that happened, it's like, man, it's almost like a marriage, right? Like you're like when you first move in with like your significant other, you realize like all the different things, the quirks, it's like I thought I knew you, but wow. And so the biggest things, let's see, just
A thing one, not things. Don't give them the whole laundry list.
the
Just give
the
them one.
intensity that you bring to everything, right? Like that was probably like the biggest aha, right? And I can be an intense person, loose at times, but I can be laser focused, hyper focused on what I'm doing. Austin takes that to a whole nother level.
And
And
does
yeah,
it turn off?
no. No, he has to schedule it to turn off. That's the
Yeah, it's and how often do we schedule it?
once a month.
Once a month. It's called rest week.
Yes.
We'll get into that in later episodes, but we
Yes.
literally have a rest week, 1 week a month. So we
Yep.
run hard for 3 weeks and we take 1 week off.
Yeah.
Okay, Nate, fourth piece here. I have 4 goals this year. I don't know if I told you this, so we're going to talk about this.
Nope.
I have 4 goals this year. The first one is to write book number 2.
Okay.
And I'm working on that actually right now. The second one is to optimize Chevron Live. So
Okay.
it's our group training program. We work an hour a week, 3 weeks a month. And so we're just optimizing it, getting it moving, doing the things that we said we'd do for, all these years. Just thoughts. We brought lead generation to it now. So I got some people crying now in there probably. And it's like, hey, we're going or we're not. I'm treating you like the team. So
Yeah.
here's your goal. Let's go. You might not like me today. You'll love me tomorrow. The third goal this year is to receive referrals, which
Okay.
seems like a
Great.
weird goal. It might seem like a weird goal, but what's been really hard is I built my whole business by referral. And what I'm used to is picking up the phone, calling you, hey, Nate, what's up? How can I help you? And here's how you can help me.
Right.
Well, what I'm working through mentally is I can't pick up the phone and call all my clients.
Mm.
And the reason why is if I call all of them, then they always call me and I charge to talk to people. So I'm like, I'm trying to figure this out, but that's the third goal. Here's the fourth goal, the one I want to talk about in just a little more depth here. The fourth goal, we're going to have some fun with this, is to get a message out to the masses.
Okay.
Okay. So we sat down and we listed all the ways that we could get a message out to the masses. And believe it or not, a podcast was one of them.
Okay.
And I thought my answer was, you know what my answer was?
Tell me.
Hell no, I ain't doing that. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how I'm doing it. I ain't doing this.
Austin's
then,
first response to almost everything is no.
Well, I'm
First
good.
response, no.
It was my first response, my second response, and my third response until one of my buddies, Randy, gave me a call. And Randy said, oh, yeah, now you see that feeling you got's what I got.
Yeah.
And Randy's
Right.
like, hey, man, I'm starting this podcast company. I got my buddy Brett with me. I'd love to kind of show you what we're doing. And I thought, well, Randy's a stud. If he's got a podcast company, I wonder who's this other guy he's got. And I go, well, you know what? Shit, let's do it. Let's go hop on a call. So I hopped on a call and I thought, if I'm going to start this, I'm going to partner with those guys. They're the guys I'm going to do this with.
Yeah.
And so they showed me everything, Apex podcast. And I'm like, that's it. Let's get into that. So we ended up saying yes to it. But oh, buddy, you know what we didn't have? So this is episode 1, but you know what we don't have for the podcast yet?
What's
a
that?
name for it. We don't have a name. And you know why we don't have a name?
There is no name for this
There's
podcast.
no name. And do you know why there's no name?
Why?
'Cause I don't need a name to record it right now. I just need it by the time it's done, and I share that with everybody because the problem is you guys are all trying to figure out a name, but you don't need the name first. What you need is the recording, and then the name can come second because it's not airing today.
Well said.
And so there's a decision-making process on how you guys do life and how you think. And
Yeah.
everyone would say, how could you not even have a name and do this? Well, you know what we're gonna do, Nate, for the next 5 minutes when we wrap this thing up? We're gonna try to figure out a name for this thing.
All right. All right. All
All
right.
right, yeah. Now I
So,
have done some
so so
research.
let me restate your 4 goals. One's a book that you're going to be pushing out, Chevron Live, right? To hone in on that. 3 is referrals, and 4 is get out to the masses.
Get
Got
out
it.
to the masses. Yep, so
Got
those
it.
are my 4 goals. Book number 2 should be launching January 26, 2027, by the way. And it's gonna be I haven't said this to really anybody other than people who've signed an NDA, which is it's gonna yeah, so I guess this is
Don't
this
have
is
to
it.
sign NDA to listening to this thing now. Just
Yeah,
so
we need everybody to sign an NDA. So the book's gonna be about how to make decisions,
mm,
everything we do.
that's you are the
Yeah.
expert when it comes to that, and I'm excited to read it. That's good.
January 26, 20, you'll get a copy earlier than that. So let's talk
Thanks.
about the podcast here. Let's talk about the name. So here's what I know. Little shout out to Dr. Joe Courier. When
Yes.
Dr. Joe should give 30 seconds about Dr. Joe here real
Dr.
quick.
Joe, he's one of my heroes, right? Great individual. He's in his early 80s right now, and has gone through a lot, right? But he's an organizational leadership psychologist, if you will, right? So worked with a lot of different corporate companies, the Baltimore Ravens, Cleveland Browns, some Olympian teams. That's his background, right? And so how do you get the most out of teams? How do you get the most out of people? He is. I've learned a lot from him. That's kind of where I've leaned into over the years is, position myself as a leadership team expert, right? Still very much a student more than anything, but it's where I like to study and so learn a lot from Dr. Joe.
So let me ask you this. If we had a year of me hosting podcast and not really interviewing everybody, but having a conversation with them,
Yep. Yeah.
what would be the top, I'll give you 5, would be the top 5 words that would describe what comes out of my mouth? How does the podcast roll? What are they talking about? What would be 5 words, highlighted words that we would talk about?
Hmm. Um,
Don't overthink it.
topics, money,
Money.
money, sales, teams, time, um, money,
One more.
sales, team, time, experience.
Okay. So my words, and we're in the same line. I've had more time to think about this. My
Mm-hmm.
words are along the lines of life, business,
Yes.
financials,
Yep.
legacy.
Love it.
So those are the words that came to my mind. And it's funny, Brett actually who runs this podcast here and owns this company, he said, "Hey, I read your book and there was one word that really stuck out to me. It's actually 2." And he goes, "It might need to be the name of this." And I'm going to tell you what it is, Nate, and tell me what your thoughts is.
Okay.
Winning twice.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
Okay, you like that. Well, that's why I said Dr. Joe, which Dr.
Yes.
Joe's the one that taught us that
Yeah.
idea.
The
It's
win twice power formula. The win twice power advantage is his exact words. And
so
so
we're thinking of a title, Winning Twice,
I love it.
and
Love
then
it.
like a subtitle, something to do with life, business, legacy, financials. So it might be something like real conversations about wealth and legacy.
Yeah.
Tough conversations was another word, but I think I like real conversations. So number one feedback I get from everybody is that I'm authentic. And
Mm.
so I'm going to have an authentic conversation every time. So what kind of word there do you see with life, business, legacy, time, money? Like, what's your thoughts? Let's have one good
The
idea
phrase
here.
that literally just popped in my head was "tough love" with Austin Chevron. That's literally what Randy. Write
Yeah.
that down. Because you are very authentic, very real. You say it as it is. That is very much you. And
Yeah.
um,
Well,
and so
well, you're always good for one idea. The other 49 are crap. So we'll
that's
take your one good one. Well, let's wrap this thing up here. We got the gold out of them, everybody. The rest is just a bunch of bronze and pewter, I'm sure. So let's let me ask you one last question here.
all right.
What is the biggest lesson you learned as being an entrepreneur? Let's share some wisdom with our listeners, which a lot of them are probably entrepreneurs. Share one piece of wisdom, probably through our failures, with them.
Yeah, yeah. What's coming to mind? There's so many, but what's coming to mind right now are boundaries and just setting very clear boundaries. A fish knows he's in water last, and so when you're in the if all you've ever known is a certain way of operating and a certain way of living, you're running 80, 90, 100 hours a week, right? It's very normal to you, but as your life changes and evolves over time, you can't keep running that way, even though you personally might be able to, but those around you might not be able to. And so when we talk about keeping the main thing, I need to make sure that what's most important to me, what game is it that I'm playing, not comparing it to anyone else, and then play that game and not let anything and resetting boundaries as I keep going, right? So that's where the word boundaries comes in, and understand what boundaries do I need to set today and what boundaries do I want to set tomorrow and the weeks thereafter, and making it in alignment with where I want my life to go, and hence the rest run week, right? And that whole cycle, right? And setting structure to your calendar and to your days, to your months and years, and really thinking about where is it that I want my life to go, and how do I set it up accordingly. And so that'd be the biggest thing is really draw awareness and make that concrete for yourself.
Yeah, I love it. Another piece of gold for everybody. Well, we've done what we normally do, which is talk way too much. We're out of time here today. Thank you, everybody. Episode 1, Nate Cheviron here in the house. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, brother. Love you, man. And I'll see you on Saturday.
All righty. See you guys.